Morning, everyone. Welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of Public Works for today, Wednesday, December 19th, 2018.
Commissioner Garcia, Cabello, James, and Jacinto are present. President James, we do have a quorum. May we start with Bureau introductions, please, starting with Bureau of Sanitation.
Sherry Kuroki, Bureau of Sanitation.
Good morning, Sherman Torres, Bureau of Street Services.
Good morning, Sefi Wiles, Bureau of Contract Administration.
Good morning, Jose Fuentes, Bureau of Engineering.
Good morning, Eddie Chavez, Bureau of Street Lighting.
Good morning, Ted Jordan, Public Works General Counsel.
Fernando Campos, Executive Officer. President James, we do not have any speaker cards under general public comment. We also do not have any commentary under the Neighborhood Council comments section. No speaker cards on any of the items for today's regular agenda.
Okay, we'll close general public comment as well as the Neighborhood Council category of commentary. We have a couple of stop notices that we'll take care of. Agenda item number 16 is a stop payment notice for Robertson's. Robertson's is transmitting a stop payment notice in the amount of $3,425.28 for furnishing ready-mix concrete, rock, and/or sand materials in connection with the emergency sewer and storm drain repair 5179 Rimstoy Drive project. The primary contractor is Bali Construction. Is there a second to my motion that we receive agenda item number 16 forthwith by Commissioner Cabello? Any objection? Without objection, we will do so. Agenda item number 17 is the release of a stop payment notice for PCI. They've transmitted the release of a stop payment notice in the amount of $59,421.71 for removal and installation of striping and pavement markings and the installation of signs and posts in connection with the Machado Lake Pipeline Project. The primary contractor for the project is Mike Bubbalo Construction Incorporated. Is there a second to my motion that we receive agenda item number 17 forthwith by Commissioner Jacinto and Commissioner Davis? Any objection? Without objection, we will do so. Agenda item number 15, document has been returned for signature. The Mayor has approved and authorized the Board of Public Works on behalf of the Bureau of Engineering to execute the proposed personal services contract with ARUP Advisor Incorporated to advise on the public-private partnership procurement process. Say that one fast. The public-private partnership procurement process, that would be a P5, for the Los Angeles Street Civic Building with a budget authority of $2 million for 5 years, which includes contingency and reimbursable expenses. Is there a second to my motion that we approve agenda item number 15 forthwith by Commissioners Garcia, Davis, Jacinto, and Davis? That will take care of that one. Agenda item number 14, specifications submitted for board adoption and authorization to advertise for the invitation of bids. This is in Council District 13 for the Los Angeles Glendale Water Reclamation Plant, dechlorination chamber improvements, sodium bisulfate facility improvements, and cover plates and grating replacement. The estimate's $4,048,911. The bid receipt date, thank you, is January 30th, 2019. There's a second to my motion. Actually, I'll second Commissioner Cabello's motion that we adopt agenda item number 14 forthwith. Dr. Campos, we have bids today on 2 public works projects. They look like tree trimming and street lighting illumination in various locations with the same estimate, but different council offices. Let's go ahead and take care of agenda item number 1 and get our bids taken care of.
Yes, we do, Mr. President. Fernando Campos, Executive Officer. We do have 2 bids to be opened. The first is for the tree trimming for street lighting illumination in the parkways of North Broadway Street from North Spring Street to Pasadena Avenue and other certain streets. The city has estimated this project to be at $490,000. This is in Council District 1, 5, 8, 9, and 14. In addition to that, we have a second bid, which is for tree trimming for street lighting illumination in the parkways for Rinaldi Street from Corbin Avenue to Reseda Boulevard and certain other streets. City has estimated the second project to be at $490,000 in Council District number 12. We will begin to open up the bid for the first project. We do have 5 bids in total for the first project. The first bid for the first project is from Mariposa Landscapes Incorporated for a total bid amount of $412,624 even. That's $412,624 from Mariposa Landscapes Incorporated. The second bid for the first project is from West Coast Arborists Incorporated for a total bid amount of $812,500 even. That's 812500 from West Coast Arborists Incorporated. The third bid for the first project is from Thrifty Tree Service Incorporated. Let me say that one more time. Thrifty Tree Service Incorporated for a total bid amount of $462,375 even. That's $462,375 from Thrifty Tree Service Incorporated. The fourth bid is from Trimming Land Company Incorporated for a total bid amount of $365,000 even. That's $365,000 from Trimming Land Company Incorporated. The fifth and final bid received for the first project is from United Pacific Services Incorporated for a total bid amount of $407,500 even. That's $407,500 from United Pacific Services Incorporated. Mr. President, that concludes the bid openings for the first project. We will now begin to open up the bids for the second project. Again, this is for tree trimming services on Rinaldi Street from Corbin Avenue to Reseda Boulevard in Council District Number 12. We did receive 6 bids for the second project. The first bid is from International Environmental Corporation for a total bid amount of $625,000 even. That's $625,000 from International Environmental Corporation. Second bid is from Thrifty Tree Service Incorporated for a total bid amount of $422,375 even. That's $422,375 from Thrifty Tree Service Incorporated. The next bid is from Mariposa Landscapes Incorporated for a total bid amount of $585,762 even. That's $585,762 from Mariposa Landscapes Incorporated. The fourth bid is from Trimming Land Company Incorporated for a total bid amount of $460,000 even. That's $460,000 from Trimming Land Company Incorporated. The next bid is from West Coast Arborists Incorporated for a total bid amount of $812,500 even. That's $812,500 from West Coast Arborists Incorporated. The sixth and final bid received for the second project is from United Pacific Services Incorporated for a total bid amount of $448,750 even. That's $448,750 from United Pacific Services Incorporated. Mr. President, that concludes the bid openings for the second project and all bids for today's agenda.
Okay, thank you. Is there a second to my motion that the order that we received, open and declared the bids forthwith be implemented on number 1? That will be by Commissioner Cabello. Any objection? And Commissioner Davis, any objection? Thank you, ladies. Without objection, that'll be the order on agenda item number 1. Commissioner Garcia, I understand we have some accessing LA recognitions today. We will go to Commissioner Garcia.
Cece. She's back there. She's back there. Thank you. Thank you, Cece. So thank you, President James, for the introduction. And yes, today we have a very lovely presentation. I am very honored to recognize some of our partners that were part of this year's first annual San Fernando Valley Access in LA. This is the first time that we, as a board of Public Works, were able to take our Access in LA on the road out to the valley, and it was very well received by everybody there. We had over 400,000 participants on that day, which was great. This was an on-call invitation to all small business owners and entrepreneurs in the valley. We partner with many different community partners and sponsors as well. And we have some here that we'll recognize officially, and then we have some others that played a very huge part out in the community, making sure that we were well attended. So on behalf of the Board of Public Works, on behalf of all of us here commissioners, I want to thank everybody that was officially part of the Access in LA at the San Fernando Valley. And we look forward to next year's event. To other partners. As well, our next event that's upcoming in February, right, Commissioner Mike Davis? So we'll talk about that too. So with further ado, I want to bring up either Hannah Choi or John Reamer. Did you guys decide? Just to say a little few words on behalf of BCA.
Pastor Reamer, how are you, sir?
I'm well. Good morning, commissioners, bureau executives, and department family. I can't say enough about what your leadership is bringing to the citizens of the city and the opportunities for businesses to make things better, make lives better. And this Accessing LA event was, it was phenomenal. It really was. The passion of this Commissioner Garcia, is just unmatched. I tried real hard, but I just could not keep up. I mean, she brought an enthusiasm that was infectious. It really was. And so even though she asked me to speak, and for our bureau, the Bureau of Contract Administration, who do phenomenal work, I have the good pleasure of being the face of the bureau, but the force of the bureau rests with the people. And I was thinking about that. I have two sons that love Star Wars, and Jedi Knights were always told, let the Force be with you. So trust me, wherever I go, the Force of BCA, I bring them with me because they do great work. And their heart is with the people of LA and providing opportunities for the businesses of LA. This event was just another example of how great a job they've done, and the partnership, not just with our commissioner here, but all the city departments, the public works departments. It was great work. We had a fantastic time. So thank you again for honoring those who are here today. Thank you for supporting the effort to reach out and make opportunities for small businesses. You're letting it be known that you do care and you want opportunities to exist. And there's one more name that I must mention. He's new to the city family, but he's jumped in also. Michael O, our new Chief Procurement Officer. I was looking at the brochure here, and when you take a look at Michael, you'll notice his hands are open, and that's Michael O. Open and wide, because he wants all who can and will to come and be a part of what's happening in the city of LA. So thank you very much, Commissioner, and to all of you, Board, for enabling this to happen, and we look forward to the many more that are coming. We'll do everything we can to match the standard that you set for us, but with your leadership, I'm sure we'll be able to accomplish that. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Reamer.
Thank you, Mr. Reamer. That was very nice. Yes, I still want to just say that I am still getting comments and messages saying that this was a very good event out in the valley, and that they're very thankful that we actually went out there. Many of those folks traveled to a downtown or the Harvard area for this types of event. So it was the first time, and I even got folks that said they just came to support because they want to make sure that we continue to bring it back to the valley. So that is the goal for the next couple of years, and I hope that, you know, with all of your support here and everybody in the back and all of our small business owners out in the valley will also take advantage and have access to LA, which is the main goal of our event. So with further ado, I'm gonna call some of the folks that played a very big part in making this event happen. There were tons of partners, as you see in the booklet. We have over 43 folks that partnered for this event to happen. I didn't call everybody today because we would probably be here for all meeting and Kevin would not be happy, so
Hey, this was a good one. I'm good. I'm
Let's
good.
do it then. I'm going to start with my small but very mighty team. We were really 4 folks that came together on a weekly basis and made sure that this was happening, from logistics to outreach to everything else. So I'm going to call the first team to my logistics team to come up. If Mr. Luis Rivera is here, he is from the Mayor's Office of Economic and Development. I also want to call Rosa Arcadio Murillo from Bureau of Contract Administration. And I also want to call Adriana Gomez, who was our community engager and a small business owner as well. And lastly, I want to just recognize in spirit Dion Rambo from Rambo House. He couldn't be here with us today, but as you see, he's the one that did all the magazines. He took the pictures. He did a lot of the outreach. So we're very thankful with Rambo. So the 4 of us, or the 5 of us, were the big mighty team that put this together. Yep, we spent 4 months every week.
Doing this is a lot of work, guys.
Yes, it was a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. We really appreciate it. Go ahead, Commissioner.
Thank you. I also want to bring up Mr. Michael O. He was our keynote speaker for the event and did a fabulous job engaging everybody. A couple of sponsors that played obviously a very big role. I don't know if the Mayor's Office of Innovation is here, but they were a strong supporter for our event. No problem. We'll make sure they get it this time. I want to also say a very special thanks to Cal State Northridge. The event was held at Cal State Northridge. It was an amazing place, beautiful. It was big enough for everybody. Like I said, we had over 400 folks coming to that event. We couldn't have a better place out in the valley but having it at CSUN. And so today we're here honoring CSUN Government's Community Relations Department. Francesca and Catherine. I do have to make a small mention. Francesca just became commissioner this past week. So yay, Francesca, you're one of us. Wait, your commission, the Women's Commission on the Status of Women. Congratulations. Welcome, Francesca. I want to thank our title sponsor, Clark. Is anybody from Clark here today?
Title sponsor gets a hand anyway.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you for that. I want to recognize Tetra Tech for their partnership and support throughout this event and the planning. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tetra Tech.
Yes. Jacobs, they also played a big role in sponsoring this event. I know that Gerard said that he might not come, but I wasn't sure if he actually made it or not. So we'll make sure that Jacobs also gets it.
Gerard who?
Gerardo Roscoe. We all know him.
Just a little humor. We know.
Gerardo.
Make sure he gets it.
I want to also thank the SoCal Gas Company, David Mesa, our rep, for participating and being part of the event. We also want to thank Burns and McDowell for their support and partnership. We're going to take a picture probably in the back. Is Qwit also, they were part of our exhibitors table. Anybody from Qwit? I know that they had a conflict this morning as well. I want to give a really special also thanks to Mitchell Printing. Frank said that he might be able to come today, but Mitchell Printing really did a fantastic job in partnering with us. They basically provided all of our flyers and our in-house magazine and our tablecloths, and so I really want to acknowledge that Mitchell Printing became also a part of this event, even though they're on the other side of the city, but they facilitated a lot for us. Capital One also participated. I don't know if Capital One is, oh, yay.
What's in your wallet?
Yeah, there you go.
See, it works.
The Bureau of Sanitation also participated in this event. I don't know if Domingo's here. I know they have 110 things going. Oh,
Sherry.
Oh, yes.
Sherry, yay.
Of course. Now you can come over on this side. Pure Movers, I also want to thank them for their exhibiting their table and being partners on that day. I don't think they are here, but I will make sure that they get the, oh, there is. Okay. How many times? It's a joke now. It's I'm sorry.
Such a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
So I just we Pure Movers was such a great partner throughout the event, and it's a joke. And this actually came out to be a joke too, because during the event we had to move them like 3 times, and it was kind of like go here, go there, and then we constantly keep on slightly forgetting sometimes. But here you are. You were here again today, and so no, I know you keep on being here. So good job. Thank you for that. And lastly, PCL Construction. They couldn't be here today, but they were also played a big part in this event. And I also want to thank out there to the community, all of our community partners that participated in outreaching, Valley Economic Development Center, the Panorama City Chamber of Commerce, the Pacoima Chamber of Commerce, the San Fernando Valley Greater Alliance, and the Valley, what was Ken's? Valley Economic Alliance with Ken Phillips. All those folks played a huge part. We did a really good job with Luis and Adriana and Rosa and all of us engaging all of the business community in the San Fernando, making sure that they were part of this. We asked them to be part of the the expertise panel, and this was something that they had never done. So it was great to have all of our San Fernando leaders come up and be recognized at such a huge event from the city. So I'm very honored to have been part of this, and I couldn't have done it with all of your help, and I look forward to next year's event. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll take a picture.
Here, it seems like this is a twice a year. John, anybody else want to say, or should you go to us? Anybody want to speak?
Anybody want to say something?
Luis,
Anybody
want to
want to share anything? Everybody.
Luis,
Please.
the mayor's office.
Just
thought we
because
might
so many
coax
of my
one of
friends
you.
are here, I will definitely say a couple words. But thank you very much, first of all, board, for all the work you guys do all year long. And Aura, to this year was a great year for great leadership, and welcome aboard CC as well. So, when Aura, Commissioner, came on board, she talked to us, and we already knew, working with Joel and accessing LA the last few years, that we wanted to continue doing things, and with Mike Davis as well, the one coming up next in February. But we wanted to do something big, and I live in the Valley. I've always represented the city in South LA, but I always have my piece in the Valley, and I have a little grudge, and I'm like that sometimes they forget about us, but I think that, when it comes down to it, there's a lot of resources we have, and we wanted to make sure we brought them out there. So it was really Aura's leadership that really made us go out there and kind of drove us out there and drove all the departments out there. So I think the more we can, make accessing LA about having access to LA, whether it's in the city or outside of the city, is what's important. So I know the goal is to really expand outwards with this over the next year and take it on the road, so to speak, and grow that. So excited to see what's ahead in the Valley and just throughout the work that's going on. So thank you guys from the mayor and from our team in economic development. We really want to partner with you guys over the next year just to grow with the contracting and building up our small businesses and improving our business enterprise program. So thank you guys, and as you see, it was a team effort, and one thing that I think we all know is this takes a community. So thank you. All right.
Thank you, Luis. So I know that each of us have a few comments, and I don't want to keep you all standing. So you guys can take your seats, but please don't leave if you can stay a few more minutes, because we want to get a group photo. But you guys can take your seats so you're not having to stand the whole time. And we'll start with Commissioner Jacinto.
Thank you, President James. Wow, this is a great moment in our boardroom today. Commissioner Garcia, I have to say first, congratulations. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your leadership. I'll say it a third time. Thank you for your leadership. Your commitment to really realizing Mayor Garcetti's back to basics agenda that our city should be prosperous across the region, not just here or there, but everywhere. So you taking the brand, and we have to give love to the Bureau of Contract Administration, to the mother actually of Accessing LA, Hannah Choi. There you go, Hannah Choi.
Yes, Hannah Choi deserves a big applause.
For providing that vision in alignment with the mayor's and Director Reamer's leadership, and then taking that and making that alive. You know, this Accessing LA is such a great concept for the entire city and the entire region. So I also want to give thanks to Luis, Rosa, Adriana, Dion, who's not here, and also to our Chief Procurement Officer, Michael Lowe, for being such a force and being additive, because I know the core team, you worked every week. That's how this is done. So your efforts are tremendous. And also want to thank the sponsors and partners, especially Tetra Tech and Burns McDowell, who are here today because these are P3s as well. This is how we get things done in the city. It's not just the city, it's not just private, but it's the partnership in between. And I'll say that as we move forward, this has everything to do with our business advisory, our ad hoc, led by our pro tem Commissioner Dr. Davis. And this is what we're going to do more and more of. Because as city of Los Angeles, as the region grows, as all this infrastructure that's being built, the local return has to come back to the diversity of businesses in this city, in this region. So we look forward to working together to February, to May, to October, to stitching together all those 8 recommendations on the Business Advisory Committee to making the city prosperous in all ways and always. So thank you, Commissioner Garcia.
Thank you, Commissioner Jacinto. Commissioner Cabello.
Thank you, President James, and thank you, first of all, to all our sponsors. This probably would never have happened to Clark Jacobs, Tetra Tech, Commissioner Vega, and CSUN, and especially a big thank you to Luis Rivera from the Mayor's Office, who's been a tremendous partner to us here on the board in various, whether it's food waste or small business, so thank you, Luis. But I really, really want to give a big shout out to my colleague here, Commissioner Garcia, because she understands that real outreach means going to people where they are, not having them come to you. So thank you. Kudos.
Thank you, Commissioner Cabello. Commissioner Davis?
I also would like to echo my compliments on this program. Obviously, it is one that reflects the values in our back to basic principles that the mayor has put forth, particularly as it relates to creating economic opportunity in Los Angeles for all of Los Angeles. This project to Commissioner Aura Garcia, who has been very effective in helping to work with our partners, and I'm proud of the Mayor's Office, the Board of Public Works, but also California State University at Northridge, an academic institution that serves as a resource in the Valley. I think you could not have picked a better partner that not only can help us, but I think they can help enhance us with the various academic institutions there in the various departments, from the business department to public administration, with whom I've done work at Northridge as well. And I think that Michael O., John Rima, Hannah Choi, the administrators here in the city have, I think, really accented a great tool for collaboration with the citizens of Los Angeles. And I think through this project, we are able to increase the awareness of both the small business community and also emerging businesses, those who are just starting out. And by giving them the tools about how you do business with Los Angeles, it gives them the knowledge that they need to be successful. So I'm so proud of what we do in contract administration on this project, because not only have we done it in the Valley, but as you have said earlier in your remarks, we're going to do it in South Los Angeles. We're going to do it in East Los Angeles. We're going to do it in the other parts of Los Angeles as well. So I commend you, Commissioner, and I look forward to you helping me as we, in February, do it in South Los Angeles. So thank you so very much.
You got it, Commissioner. Thank you. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Commissioner Davis. Let me just wrap up first by thanking the sponsors again, all of you, but the title sponsor, Clark, gold sponsor, Jacobs, silver sponsors, Tetra Tech, and Capital One. it really is hard for us collectively, and when I say collectively, I mean the city and electeds and others, when we have to go out and find sponsors for these projects. And it's so wonderful when people say yes. I'm sure that Commissioner Garcia, every time she got a yes from one of you, it just made her day. Putting an event like this together that was so successful, we really do mean it when we say thank you for your partnership with us. And the certificates that we give you, some of you have a lot of them, and we'll keep issuing them if you'll keep providing sponsorship to our events, and eventually you have enough on a wall it looks pretty impressive. Yeah, but I really do want you to know that we thank you for your investment in our city and your investment in our residents, and not just the people that live here, but the people that work here, the people that pass through here, and the 50 million tourists a year that come to Los Angeles. They all benefit from the work that you do in your partnership with us. So again, just a huge thank you to the sponsors of this event. The city team, great work. This was so successful. BCA and sanitation and the mayor's office, and Michael, we really appreciate your work here at the city. And John Reamer has the Midas touch. Things that John touches are always very successful, and we're so thankful that he's one of our general managers of our bureaus. John, thank you to you and Hannah as well. And finally, for you, Commissioner Garcia, each of us, we're all here for many reasons. But this is one of the many reasons that you're here. It's to do this work. And we knew it when you were coming onto our board, and it didn't take you any time to show it. And John Reamer talked about your infectious spirit around this, and this is the gold standard for us to build on for Accessing LA. We're going to, as people in government do, we're going to continue on and brag about it a little bit, because that's what we should do, because this is setting the bar very high from which to build. As a matter of fact, I was just working last night on our annual report, the letter that goes in the annual report. We're trying to figure out what we focus on. This was what we focused on this year, because this was just so good, and it's such a great thing for us to be doing, and it's why we should be here. So congratulations to you. Thank you. And thank you. We look forward to much more. And with that, everybody, we would like to just take a brief recess. It'll just be a couple of minutes for a photo in the back of the room because of the size of the group, and then we'll be right back.
Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate that, President.
Okay, thank you, everyone. And again, congratulations and thank you to all the participants in Accessing LA. Agenda item number, let's take care of some of these that take a little less time. We have a couple of contract acceptances. I know Seppi Wiles is here for those. Agenda item number 10, Council District 4, contract acceptance, Gould Avenue Bulkhead, recommending that the board accept the contract. Ms. Wiles.
Good morning, President James and Commissioners. On February 28, 2014, your board adopted the established on-call contractors emergency geotechnical construction services contract for public works projects. And on March 16, 2018, an emergency geotechnical structural construction services contract was awarded on a competitive basis in the amount of $729,223 with a not-to-exceed amount of $867,000 to Clark Contracting Corporation. The contract was executed with a notice to proceed on April 19 of this year, and all work, including final corrections, was completed on September 19, 2018. The project scope included widening Gould Avenue and a construction of 185 lineal feet of bulkhead retaining structure to support the roadway damage due to erosion, as well as repairing the asphalt concrete pavement and asphalt concrete berm, as well as installing a metal beam guardrail. 8 trees were removed, of which 3 were protected coast live oaks, and they were replaced at the ratio of 4:1 due to the protected trees. 3 change orders were issued, increasing the contract amount by $67,241.78, which represents 9.22% of the original contract amount and 8.14% below the not-to-exceed amount, bringing the total cost of the contract to $796,464.78. The majority of the change orders were due to unforeseen additional pavement removals and additional asphalt concrete pavement installed. A request for release of $32,427.13 in retention funds was processed on October 19, and there were no funds disputed or withheld, and therefore there's no funds due the contractor. The contractor has complied with all of the EEO and labor compliance requirements of the contract, and due to the emergency nature of the project, there were no specific MBE, WBE participation levels established. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Wiles. Any questions on number 10? No questions on number 10. I'll make a motion that we adopt agenda item number 10, seconded by Commissioner Cinto. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 10. Any issue sending number 10 forthwith? We'll send number 10 forthwith. Agenda item number 3, task order solicitation number 001E, North Spring Street Viaduct Widening and Rehabilitation Project Phase 2. This is in Council District 1, recommending that the board first authorize the city engineer to issue the task to SOMAS from the pre-qualified on-call design and support services consultants list to provide construction support services for the project as stated in TOS number 001E with a budget authority of $224,728, which includes contingency. Mr. Gibson, good morning, sir.
Good morning. Scott Gibson with Bureau of Engineering Bridge Improvement Program. I'm the project manager for the North Spring Street Bridge Phase 2. Phase 2 was awarded in late June. And the primary focus of this project is it's focused on providing better access to the new State Historic Park just east of Chinatown. So the project was awarded for just under $2 million, and it involves demolishing a building and creating a through intersection to the park and some local or some adjacent street and street lighting improvements. And so we solicited all 10 consultants on the PQOC list. Only one consultant responded, and that was SOMAS. And they submitted a cost proposal of $224,000, which includes contingency. We did reach out to the other 9 consultants who did not respond and asked why they did not respond. And the majority of them responded with they felt that the designer of record
was best fit to provide engineering support services, and that was SOMAS, and so that's why they didn't respond.
Well, that's fair enough.
SOMAS has pledged a DB percentage of just over 20%, and they will be providing design or scheduling services, estimating services, submittal reviews, utility coordination, structural support, and geotechnical support.
Great, Scott. So federally funded, as you mentioned, there are DBE numbers that would coincide in essence with our MBE and WBE numbers, but you don't count them the same way for a federally funded project, of course, or they're not at least labeled the same. I appreciate the follow-up with the other members on the on-call list that decided not to participate in the selection process. Always helpful for us. Commissioner Jacinto.
Thank you, President James. Scott, good to see you, sir.
Good.
I'm going to ask you a question regarding the two DBEs. In other reports, we've seen a breakout sentence that describes the scope of work that some of these, do you know off the top of your head what IDC and CNS, what their scope of work is, sir?
IDC is the structural engineer of record, so they'll be providing, structural support primarily around the building demo. CNS is also a structural engineer. They provided, I think, more like the footing recommendations and that kind of stuff. That's why their scope is kind of small.
So those are good in terms of 20%, a little bit over 20%, and you have a female-owned structural engineering firm. Can be done. It's out there. That's a good get. If you could continue to list out what these subcontractors were diverse.
Sure.
DBEs, maybe weebies would be
right.
Great
Sure.
Thanks, sir.
Great. Thank you, Commissioner Jacinto. Commissioner Cabello.
President James, point of personal privilege. Mr. Gibson, I'm a big fan of your mom, so please send her my best.
Sure.
Tell her I miss her a lot, and I've learned a lot from her. The city misses her.
She's enjoying retirement, yeah.
Thank you, Commissioner Cabello. Anytime. I'll take that as a motion from Commissioner Cabello to support Mr. Gibson's item, seconded by Commissioner Jacinto. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 3. Thank you, Scott. Have a nice holiday. Say hi to your folks. And any issue sending number 3 forthwith? We will send number 3 forthwith. Agenda item number 2, sole source task order solicitations, Gonzalez Goodell Architects, SPF Architects, and Tetra IBI Group Architectural Planning. And Mr. Nakata will explain why we have a series of sole source requests here, but let me read through the agenda item for the public notice portion. Recommending that the board authorize the city engineer to issue a sole source TOS number 45 to Gonzalez Goodell Architects from the 2014 pre-qualified on-call architectural and related professional services consultants list to complete the TOS number 220 issued to the same consultant on the 2008 pre-qualified consultant service list to provide architectural design and construction administration services for the LA Department of Transportation downtown bus maintenance facility project with a budget authority not to exceed $195,284.25, which includes contingencies. Secondly, authorize the city engineer to issue a sole source TOS number 43 to SPF Architects from the 2014 list to complete the TOS number 200 that was issued to the same consultant on the 2008 list. You're going to see a pattern here, to provide architectural design and construction administration services for the Taylor Yard Bikeway Pedestrian Bridge over the LA River project with a budget authority not to exceed $505,407, which includes contingency. Number 3, authorize the city engineer to issue a sole source TOS number 44 to SPF from the 2014 list to complete the TOS number 380 that was issued to the same consultant on the 2008 list to provide architectural design and construction administration services for the Rancho Cienega Sports Complex project with a budget authority not to exceed $253,754, which includes contingency. Number 4, authorize the city engineer to issue a sole source TOS number 46 to Tetra IBI Group Architectural Planning from the 2014 list to complete the TOS number 14.1 issued to the same consultant on the 2008 list to provide architectural design and construction administration services for the Parker Center demolition project, with a budget authority not to exceed $851,129.56, which includes contingency. Number 5, authorize the city engineer to issue a sole source TOS number 47 to Tetra IBI from the 2014 list to complete TOS number 250 issued to the same consultant on the 2008 list to provide architectural design and construction administration services for the City Hall East Electrical Information Technology Agency server room upgrade project, with a budget authority not to exceed $67,491.18, which includes contingency. And 6, authorize the city engineer to approve the addition of all subconsultants performing work on the above project task orders to the 3 respective consultants. Schedule a list of potential subconsultants from the 2008 list to the 2014 list. And Mr. Nakata, you'll get through this, but just by reading that, it sounds like we've got a number of projects that we have existing work being done on. We have on-call lists that are moving and being updated. We want to be able to continue that work with the consultants that we have in place, thus the sole source request, but you can go ahead.
Yes, thank you. In essence, what we have is in 2008, your board authorized the Bureau of Engineering to administer some on-call architectural design contracts. Subsequently, this list of contracts was amended in 2013 to extend the expiration date of these contracts through July 8th, 2018. These contracts have since expired. However, 3 of these contracts still have 5 projects that require us to continue ongoing work to complete them. Fortunately, the board authorized the Bureau of Engineering in 2014 to administer a new list of on-call architectural consultants, and 3 of these consultants are fortunately on this new list that has not yet to expire. So what our request in general is to take these task orders that were awarded under the expired contract and the remaining funds that were authorized to be spent on these contracts and transfer them over to the contracts that are current and have not yet expired in order for these 3 consultants to continue and complete these 5 projects. And the reason why we request this to be on a sole source basis is because I think if we were to issue task order solicitations from the new list, most likely we're going to select the existing consultants who've already been performing the design for the work, and that's the reason for requesting sole source.
For them to continue work they're already doing, so it would be an exercise in futility, basically. Well,
I agree.
I don't know that futility is the wrong. It would be a waste of time, potentially. Mr. Jordan, so we've used this process before, as I recall. This is something that's okay with your office?
Yes. These are continuing existing task orders that were issued to each of the 3 consultants for a total of 5 task orders. There's a variety of ways we could do this. We can extend the original contracts and let them keep going so that they continue the task order. Or since they're on the new on-call list with new contracts, we can simply move their task from the original contract, which is now expired, to the new contract. Either way, it's a perfectly appropriate sole source, and I support the Bureau's recommendation.
Okay. Thank you. Dr. Campos, you had something. I've got an as-amended note. Was there something we needed to add to the record?
There is. I'll let Mark provide that amendment to the board as well. Page number 4.
Amendment does not change any of the recommendations. We just want to add some clarifying information. So on page 4 of the board report for the SPFA task order involving the Taylor Yard Bridge. We'd like to add the following sentence to the end of item number 2 under discussion sole source justification on page 4, and I'd like to read this just for the record. Additionally, the consultant completed additional design work in the amount of approximately $39,000, which was necessary to move the project to the bid stage. This amount for those completed design fees will be paid from the contingency in this board report. So we just wanted to be transparent about where this contingency money is going to be used for. We needed to do additional design work prior to the project going out to bid, and one of the sub-consultants and the prime consultant had to do additional work to bring the project to bid and award.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? I'll make a motion that Commissioner Sintos made a motion that we adopt agenda item number 2. I'll second it. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 2. Thank you, sir.
Thank
Have a nice holiday. Any issue sending number 2 forthwith? We'll send number 2 forthwith. Thank you. Agenda item number 6, task order solicitation number SN 102 to AECOM, recommending that the board authorize the director of the Bureau of Sanitation or his designee to award task order solicitation SN 102 to AECOM from the sanitation on-call consultants list. Number 2, approve a total budget of $400,000 to fund a special study that evaluates the projected effects of water conservation and planned recycling on effluent toxicity and ammonia. This study will include a mass balance of nitrogen species through the Hyperion Water Reclamation Plant and an assessment of operational alternatives, for example, treatment optimization, additional treatment, additional dilution credits, to address projected compliance with acute toxicity and ammonia water quality objectives. I couldn't have written any better myself. 3, approve the term of engagement from December 10, 2018 to July 22nd, 2019. And 4th, authorize the Director of Sanitation to extend the contract until December 10th, 2020, with an option for a 1-year renewal contingent upon approval by the board of the renewal of the parent on-call contract as authorized by Council File 13-0949-S1. Mr. Mayu, how are you, sir?
Very good. Thank you, sir. President James, good morning. Commissioners, Bureau Representatives, City Attorney. Again, my name is Ronald Mayuyu with LA San, and I'm here today to request the board to authorize the Director of Bureau of Sanitation or his designee to award task order solicitation SN 102 to AECOM from the BOS on-call consultant list for an approved total budget of $400,000 to fund the HWRP acute toxicity and ammonia study and work plan. This study is required by the LA Regional Water Quality Control Board as part of the NPDES permit issued in April of 2017. On July 5th, 2018, LA San issued TOS SN 102 to all 25 firms on the wastewater LA San on-call consultant list. And during this solicitation, LA San invited all interested firms to the pre-proposal meeting that was held on July 19, 2018. Out of the 25 firms, 7 firms participated in the pre-proposal meeting. And on Thursday, August 9, 2018, only 2 firms, AECOM and Larry Walker and Associates, or LWA, submitted their proposals to LA San. Upon evaluation of the proposals, LA San staff recommends awarding the contract to AECOM based on their knowledge and experience, their work plan approach, and the best value offered to the city. The work plan approach presented by AECOM is comprehensive and also in alignment with the goals and vision of LA San and the City of Los Angeles. AECOM pledged 0% MBE, but 5% WBE and 13.8% SBE, but 0% on EBE and 0% on DVBE and 0% on OBE. This is after making a good faith effort to reach out to qualified sub-consultants. The specialized and expertise requirements of the TOS made getting a sub-consultant participation very challenging for the contractor. As indicated in the TOS, the study requires specialized expertise in evaluating the projected effects of water conservation and plant recycling at Hyperion effluent and acute toxicity and ammonia as required by the regional board. And so this consultant needs to have very familiar with regulatory processes and the completion of the work within a short period of time to meet the deadline set forth by the NPDES permit. Therefore, I'm requesting the board to award SN 102 to AECOM and the approval of a budget of $400,000.
Thank you, sir. Any questions on agenda item number 6? No questions on number 6? Oh, you do? Oh, Commissioner, I can't. Your Santa hat's
I'm
covering
sorry.
up your light.
You're
over
usually
there.
excellent at that. I wonder why.
So,
I
other
wanted-
than Santa Claus here, number 6, Commissioner Davis.
Yeah, I wanted some clarification in the discussion about the inclusion. You talked about the MBE numbers, and also you mentioned the fact that this is a highly technical subspecialty. Now, what I was unclear about in terms of the outreach for MBEs, was it that there weren't any MBEs that had this subspecialty, or was it that in contacting the MBEs available that they were busy doing something else? Did they, AECOM, state that?
It could be a combination of both, because even for the prime consultants that out of the 7 firms, later on, if I had mentioned there are only 5 that came, only 2 out of the 7 actually came back with a proposal. In fact, if you notice, the winning contractor, AECOM, their sub is actually the other bidder, which is Larry Walker and Associates. So it's a very specialized, we can't get enough participation for this type of work.
Okay, so it is the shortfall, if you will, the gap in terms of the available minority firms that have the subspecialty.
Correct.
Yeah, okay, good. Because I was saying, why, we have other firms like AECOM who have really grown and developed in terms of their accomplishment of MBE inclusion. But I think that answers the problem in this particular case. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner Davis. Thank you, sir. That was Commissioner Cabello's motion, seconded by Commissioner Garcia. Any objection? For that objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 6. Thank you, sir. Any issue sending number 6 forthwith? We'll send number 6 forthwith. Number 7, Council District 14, requested rate increase for the Central Los Angeles Recycling Transfer Station, CLARTS, recommending that the board authorize sanitation to adjust the gate fee rates at the Central Los Angeles Recycling and Transfer Station starting January 1, 2019. Ms. Flores.
Correct. Good morning, Commissioners, Bureau Representatives, City Attorney, and Executive Officer. My name is Tanya Flores. I am one of LA Sanitation's engineers at Central Los Angeles Recycling and Transfer Station, also known as CLARTS. So currently, CLARTS is the only transfer station owned by the city. We process approximately 3,300 tons per day of municipal solid waste, and this accounts for around 53% of the total collected waste, residential waste collected from the city, and 17% of the total collected green waste. We also process not commercial waste, but private waste, and that is around 1,100 tons per day that we process there. So I present to you today because we do recommend a gate increase, and this is charged only to those who bring in non-city waste to the facility. But first, let me give you a brief background. So on April 23, 2004, the City Council adopted the Environmental Quality and Waste Management report recommending approval of gate rates for transfer, hauling, and disposal of non-city collected solid waste to be adjusted on an as-needed basis to achieve and maintain full cost recovery. This gate rate has been approved by the board 5 times since 2008, and this is because the increase of costs of hauling and disposal fees at private waste sites. So the current fee that we are charging right now for non-city waste is $60, and we are recommending a $2 increase. So now it would be $62 effective as in January 2019. And this will allow us to continue to maintain our existing operations and continue in the future. Adjusting this gate rate will also allow us to increase our capital improvement project reserve, and this is because the condition and the age of Clarence needs lots of improvements. And some of the projects that are going on right now is we're installing a stormwater retention tank, and in the near future we're planning on installing solar panels, and with new environmental laws coming into effect, we also have to plan out for an organics waste processing facility. So increasing the gate rate will allow us to partially finance for some of those projects going on. So this concludes my presentation and our recommendations. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Forrest. The last time that our board voted to increase the gate rate that sanitation requested, looks like it was December of 2015?
Correct. Yes. So it's been 2 years since it's been increased.
Oh, 3 actually.
Three
Yeah.
now, yes.
Hard to believe, right?
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, Commissioner Jacinto.
Thank you, President James. Ms. Flores, thank you for this report. Good job. You know, I'm going to ask you a question. The $2 that you kind of just, $2 for each of the rates, $60 per load plus the difficult to, what formula did we use? And the reason why I'm asking, I'm saying, is it enough? What basis did we use?
So actually a deep study was conducted by some of our financial personnel that do all those predictions, and that was based on how much money we were spending on these capital improvements, and also the distance that we're hauling now that we have changed locations of a different disposal landfill that we're using now. So it was based on distance, you know, gas, and also all the capital improvements that need to be made so that we are in compliance with our
Thank you for
regulations.
that. So we are then we're keeping up with our expenditures, and we're basically at a neutral level of revenue versus expenses.
Correct.
So we have to add, and the ratio of all these adds up to what we need to increase revenue, correct?
Exactly.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Jacinto. Anything further? Okay. Commissioner Caballos made a motion that we adopt agenda item number 7, seconded by Commissioner Jacinto and Commissioner Davis. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 7. Any issue sending 7 forthwith? We'll send number 7 forthwith. Number 8, Bureau of Street Services, task order solicitation number 42 for various locations, recommending that the board authorize the director of the Bureau of Street Services to issue TOS number 42 to Harris and Associates from the city engineer pre-qualified on-call consultant list to provide civil engineering, design, and support to various street services programs, including the Measure R Access Ramp Program, in the amount of $750,000. Chi Ming Gong, welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, President James, Commissioners, Executive Officers, City Attorney, and Bureau Reps. Chi Ming Gong for the Bureau of Street Services, and it's my pleasure to present the task order solicitation. Can't say that even once. Number 42 to the board for consideration, and to request that the board authorize the director of the Bureau of Street Services to issue this to Harris and Associates. Very briefly on the background, back in December 10th, 2008, your board approved the pre-qualified on-call consultant list to provide design construction management services for the street and stormwater program of the Bureau of Engineering. And just to depart a little bit, I want to give a shout out to my partners at the Bureau of Engineering for allowing the Bureau of Street Services access to that list. Saved us quite a bit of time and trouble. The contract with Harris and Associates was executed on March 17, 2009, and set to expire March 17, 2019. I believe that the Bureau of Engineering is actively working on an extension on that. So, the task order solicitation started off as an effort by the Bureau of Street Services to augment its vast construction and installation capabilities with civil engineering project design support. For the last 15 plus years, the Bureau has engaged in installing ramps citywide all over. And our Bureau managers, construction managers, have been actively, how should I say it, picking off the low-hanging fruit, installing ramps where it didn't require very much deviation from the standard plan that's provided by the Bureau of Engineering. As you can imagine, for the 15 years, the Bureau has pretty much harvested almost all the low-hanging fruit. And now we're at that part of the spectrum where we need more than just simple modifications to the standard plan in order to install these ramps. We're going to need much more civil engineering support in order to make the ramps installable at locations that currently exist, given the requirements that have evolved over the last 15 years, especially as regards to ADA requirements and the installation of ramps adjacent to existing private structures. That's where we've seemed to run into the most challenges. With that in mind, the Bureau had gone ahead with the task force solicitation on April 9, 2018. At a mandatory meeting, 6 consultants from the on-call list responded and attended that meeting. Subsequent to that, 4 of those same consultants submitted proposals, which were evaluated by Bureau staff based on the criteria that's mentioned in the task force solicitation. Essentially, all 4 consultant firms were rated fairly qualified and equivalent in capability as well as ability to deliver on the task order solicitation. Subsequent to that, they were all invited for interviews with a panel of Bureau representatives, and it was felt that Harrison Associates provide the most, I guess I would term, the most innovative approach to augmenting our particular construction expertise with their civil engineering design expertise in order to allow us to continue constructing more access ramps in the city of Los Angeles for a reasonable rate. They have pledged to exceed the MBE participation rate of 12% and WBE participation level of 2% as evidenced by the attachment. And at this point, it'd be my pleasure to entertain or respond to any and all questions or comments.
Thank you, Ming. Commissioner Davis?
So, and in terms of the extension of this contract passes 219, the contract goes to 219 currently, right?
Yes.
And you'd like to extend it for how long a period of time?
Well, we'll probably extend for another year.
Another year?
Yes.
And in terms of, I appreciate the fact that they've been able to achieve inclusion with minority businesses as well as WBEs as well. Very, very pleased to see that. I wanted to ask if when we do extensions procedurally, does it change the subcontractors on a certain contract? Are primes free to then, if they substitute a prime on it, then they have to notify contract administration of the change? Is that correct?
I believe that's correct, yes.
Okay, great. I just wanted to ask that procedure question. Again, I'm very pleased with the fact of what they have been able to achieve in the past in terms of inclusion and certainly support the extension.
Thank you very much.
Great, thank you, Commissioner Davis. I'll take that as a motion, which I'll second. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 8. Thank you, Ming. Have a nice holiday.
Thank you.
Any issue sending number 8 forthwith? We'll send number 8 forthwith. Agenda item number 9, Council District 14, revised task order solicitation number 17, Highbury Pumping Plant number 604 rehabilitation project, recommending that the board authorize $30,000 in additional contingency for the project and approve a revised budget of $70,331.11 for TOS number 17 with Atkins North America. Mr. Wendt.
Good morning. My name is Jane Wendt from Bureau of Engineering, Wastewater Conveyance Engineering Division. We're here to request for $30,000 additional in contingency to provide this design services during construction for the Highbury Pumping Plant project. This project will remove and replace all the mechanical and electrical system and also do some structural and civil repairs. The project is under construction phase right now. On May 18, we award the project to Green Building Corporation. We're in the procurement of the equipment and the electrical system right now. The contractor will start mobilization in mid-January 2019. As of September, we have received about 20 submittals and 5 requests for information. This additional $30,000 will cover anticipate additional submittal and request for information to complete the project. So to keep this project moving forward, we recommend the board to authorize $30,000 in additional contingency for this contract C-129642. With that, I would like to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Wynn. We'll start with Commissioner Jacinto.
Thank you. Jen, thank you for this. Is the additional 30,000 going to complete? Will we need any more? Do you think it'll come back?
We estimate how many submittal and the requests for information will come in to complete the project, and we obtained the estimate from the consultant, so we believe that should be enough to cover at this point.
Okay. On that note, we'll go ahead. I'll be fine with it. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Garcia.
Thank you, President James. I just have a quick question. When do we expect for this project to be completed?
They're mobilizing in mid of January. It should be complete by the end of next year.
End of 2019?
2019, I believe. I don't have that schedule with me.
And with this 30,000, kind of almost the same as Commissioner Hiss's question, will be sufficient enough to last throughout the next year as well?
This 30,000 really for the consultant design services, which means only for them to review the submittal and the request for information, not for actual construction.
Okay, okay, got it. So for the design aspect, it'll be done 2019?
Or the whole construction
The whole
will
construction.
be.
Okay, got it. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. Look forward to hearing it when it's already completed.
Thank you, Commissioner Garcia. Anything further? Commissioner Garcia has made a motion on agenda item number 9, seconded by Commissioner Jacinto. Any objection? Without objection, we will adopt agenda item number 9. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Have a nice holiday. Any issue sending number 9 forthwith? We'll send number 9 forthwith. Takes us to number 11, Council District 14, contract award, 6th Street Viaduct Replacement Project, Bicycle and Pedestrian Facilities, Federal number ATPL 5006-816, recommending that the board first declare Access Pacific Incorporated the first low bidder to be the lowest responsible bidder, and award Access Pacific a contract for the project for $1,631,048.18, and authorize myself or 2 members of the Board of Public Works to execute the contract after approval as to form has been obtained from the City Attorney, Mr. Lamb.
Hi, good morning. My name is Gary Lamb from the Bureau of Engineering, 6th Street Viaduct Division. The board report before you is for the award of the 6th Street Viaduct Replacement Project, Bicycle and Pedestrian Facilities. We are recommending to the board to declare Access Pacific to be the lowest responsible bidder and to award the contract to the project in the amount of $1,631,048.18. Just to give you a brief background on the project, the scope of work here involves the construction of new bike paths, new and replacement sidewalks, repair of sidewalks, and new pedestrian lighting along Mission Road and Myers Street. The project will also involve the construction of new ADA curb ramps and crosswalks with pedestrian activated signals. The significance of this project is that it provides a vital linkage between the 6th Street Viaduct and pedestrians and cyclists as they exit and enter down the helical ramp off the viaduct onto Mission Road there. All right, and I believe a handout has been provided to the commission to illustrate that linkage. Okay, so you're going to see in that handout where the Mission Myers project is respect to the future helical ramp on the 6th Street Viaduct there. All right. The board approved the project to be advertised back in October 24th, along with the Mission Myers Roundabout project, which was originally packaged together as a single bid package, if you recall. And back on November 14th, the board approved the motion to decouple the 2 projects due to the funding requirements, to the fact that if we had kept the projects together, there would be an intentional federal obligation attached to the roundabout project, so we wanted to avoid that. All right, so the board had approved to decouple the two projects. So on November 21st, we did receive 5 bids for the project, ranging from a low of $1,631,048.18 to a high of $2,419,609.60. The low bidder was Axis Pacific Inc. BOE and BCA have carefully evaluated the bids, and it was determined that Axis Pacific's bid is reasonable and complies with bidding requirements. Also, as this project is federally funded, the project's DB goal was 6.65%. Based on the Office of Contract Compliance's review of Axis Pacific's documents, we have determined that they do have a commitment, a DB commitment of 72.45%, so it's rather high. BCA also revealed Axis Pacific's previous work history, and there has been no unresolved issues or contract compliance issues or inspection issues. Axis Pacific has previously performed a project with the city. They worked on the Bureau of Engineering's small sidewalk repair program back in January of 2017. And this was for a replacement project out at, sidewalk replacement project out at Rinaldi Park, all right? So in conclusion, again, BOE and BCA jointly recommend that the board approve Axis Pacific as the lowest responsible bidder, again, in an amount of $1,631,048.18. So this concludes my report. I'm open to questions.
Thank you, Mr. Lamb. Any questions at all, Commissioner Jacinto?
Thank you, President James. Gary, good report, and thank you for the providing the team provided the schematics on how the project. And anytime we see ATP, Active Transportation Project, we know that's going to be good for pedestrians, for multimodal transportation. To know that we're going to have new sidewalks means there's no sidewalks.
That's correct.
So this is very much a needed aspect of the viaduct. And it shows where it's related to the Gila Gold bicycle path, correct? In terms of, that's on this east ramp, correct?
That's correct.
On that side. So I appreciate that too. It's also good to know that in the bids, the low responsible bidder is a MBE itself. So it's like a twofer, correct?
That's correct. The prime is the DBE, yes.
Right. And obviously, it's a federal project, so we're classifying it under, so I'm sure that's a big win, Dr. Davis, in terms of 3/4 of the whole project will go to that. So this is really, and to know that, and thank you for saying that this contractor came from a small sidewalk repair so that they are moving up to do larger projects, which is exactly the logic model that we want to see in terms of diverse businesses that start off as subs or smalls and go to prime. So good all the way on this one. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Jacinto. Appreciate it. Commissioner Garcia.
Thank you, President James. Again, just a quick question. When do we expect to begin this project and end the project?
Okay, I anticipate the NTP will be issued sometime around January to February the latest, most likely January. It's an 18-month construction project, so we're looking at summer of 2019 when we anticipate, 2020,
yeah.
rather. Summer of 2020 when we anticipate completing the
Okay,
project.
and has there been any conversation, well, I guess when after it gets constructed, any conversation of any type of artistic or cultural references that will go around the roundabout?
That's a good question. The future project, the roundabout, which will be advertised shortly as well, there will be an art element involved. So the Department of Cultural Affairs is working with the council office on actively installing a piece. I believe there was already an artist solicitation done.
Oh, okay.
On this.
Oh, that's good to know. Thank you. I look forward to seeing the artistic piece to this. So thank you for that. Thank you for your report.
Thank you, Commissioner Garcia. Anything further? Nothing further. Is there a motion on this item? Commissioner Jacinto's made a motion that we adopt agenda item number 11, seconded by Commissioners Davis and Garcia. Thank you, Mr. Lamb. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 11. Any issue sending 11 forthwith? send 11 forthwith. Have a nice holiday. Agenda item number 12, contract award, Council Districts 4, 5, and 13. La Cienega Interceptor Sewer, Units 7 through 8, Alta Vista Divine. Recommending that the board first waive the informality in the bid of JR Pipeline Incorporated, first low bidder as discussed in the report. Secondly, declare JR Pipeline to be the lowest responsible bidder. They were the first low bidder, and award JR Pipeline a contract for the project for $1,997,743. And third, authorize myself or two members of the Board of Public Works to execute the contract after approval as to form has been obtained by the city attorney. Tanat Sadikit.
Correct.
Welcome, sir.
Good morning. My name is Tanat Sadikit from the Bureau of Engineering, Wastewater Conveyance Engineering Division. The report before you is to award the contract in connection with the La Cienega Interceptor Sewer, or LCIS, Unit 7-8 Alta Vista Divine project. We would like to recommend the board to first waive the informality in the bid of GR Pipeline Company. Second, declare GR Pipeline to be the lowest responsible bidder and award the GR Pipeline the contract of this project for $1,997,743. And third, authorize the president and two members of the board to execute the contract after the approval as to form has been obtained from the city attorney. A little bit of project background. This project will perform rehabilitation by lining to 4 sewer reaches, which contain 1,140 feet of pipe on Melrose Avenue from Vine Street to Alta Vista Boulevard. In addition to that, 7 existing maintenance hole bases within this alignment shall be remodeled. Lastly, the other 4 sewer reaches shall be cleaned and have closed-circuit television or CCTV be performed. The work also includes sewer bypassing and odor control. The contract duration is 275 calendar days. The project falls within the council districts 4, 5, and 13. We have obtained the peak hour exemption, and we have received the concurrences from the council districts. The night work request has been approved by the police commissioners. In terms of the city engineer's estimate and the cost, the city engineer's estimate is $2,118,473. The bid amount from the lowest bidder is $1,997,743, and this is 5.7% lower than the city engineer's estimate. In terms of the percent pledged, MBE is 0%, WBE is 0%, SBE is 7.47%, EBE is 7.47%, DVBE is 0%, OBE is 15.39%. In terms of the informality, as mentioned in the report, it was noted that JR Pipeline acknowledged receiving addendum number 2 on the signature sheet of their bid proposal. However, they did not use a revised page 1-1 sheet as mentioned in the addendum number 2. In their submittal, upon the review of the addendum number 2, BOE staff determined that the addendum did not affect the scope of work or the city engineer's estimate. It also does not provide JR Pipeline any unfair competitive advantage. Therefore, BOE staff recommends the board to waive this informality. In summary, so we would like to recommend the board to waive the informality of the bid and award JR Pipeline the contract. This concludes my report. I'm open to any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Sadiki. Is this your first time?
It is my first time.
Welcome to the Board of Public Works. Nice
Thank
job.
you.
We'll start with Commissioner Jacinto.
Thank you, President James. Yes, good job. Thank you. It's not so much the awarding, but it's the work itself. Being on Melrose, very important street, and we talk about sewer bypassing. Anytime we sewer bypass, that means we're going to go above ground and create something. Do we have a traffic control plan that has been, or how is that going to be done in the course of a weekend, or can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes. The bypass, there is another sewer on the upstream of our sewer reaches. There's another parallel sewer pipe, similar size, that we can bypass too. It runs really close, and so basically, when we install the traffic control, it will be using the same traffic control for the bypass.
Okay, but the bypass is going to be on grade.
On grade, correct.
On grade, and how long will that bypass be there?
For the upstream, is parallel, is about 5 feet apart. So when we do the work, we can set the bypass adjacent to that maintenance hole, and it will not affect the traffic during peak hours. We will do bypass only on the work hours.
That's what I wanted to hear. So
Yeah.
it's going to be concurrent with the work, and it'll be contained in the traffic control plan.
Correct.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Davis.
The inclusion on the project, first I've noted that it's 5.7%, I guess, under bid in terms of what they bidded. The
Under city estimate.
Underestimate, I'm sorry, underestimate. In terms of the pledged amounts, the MBE and WBE, I noticed that we were not able to achieve any inclusion there. Did you discuss that in your remarks regarding the motion in terms of their outreach for those areas?
It's just that this is a specialized work, and there are just not that many women or minority in the sewer repair work.
Got it. Appreciate it. That's it.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Davis. Anything further? Commissioner Cabello has made a motion that we adopt agenda item number 12, seconded by Commissioner Jacinto. Any objection? Without objection, and Commissioner Davis on the second. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 12. Any issue sending it forthwith? We'll send number 12 forthwith.
Thank you, sir.
There you go, sir. First time, done in 2018. Last meeting of the year. Got it in this year. Have a good holiday, sir. Agenda item number 13, contract acceptance. Well, Seffi, you were assigned to be here anyway. I knew you had two of them.
You know, and I should have
But they weren't next to each other in the agenda, so I saw, okay. Council Districts 2, 3, 5, 6, and 13 requested contract acceptance, 7 signal modifications and 1 new signal, 2 new traffic signals at Pico Boulevard and 1 new traffic signal at Oso Avenue. Highway Safety Improvement Program and federal project numbers are listed in the board report or in the agenda. Recommending that the board accept the contract. Ms. Wiles, once again.
Yes, good morning. Seffi Wiles, Bureau of Contract Administration. This federal contract was executed by this board on July 11, 2016, in the amount of $1,430,000 to KDC Inc., doing business as Dynalectric. The project contract consisted of 3 projects within that, and it was to install new traffic signals and modifications to signalizations at various intersections throughout the city. This project had a contingency of $143,000, and the total authorized budget was $1,573,000. 11 change orders were issued, decreasing the contract amount by $14,613.97, bringing the total cost of the project to $1,415,386.03. The project was completed at 1.02% below the award amount and 10.02% below the authorized budget. All final corrections were completed on September 25th, 2017, and retention request was funds were processed October 18, 2017 for release. There were no funds disputed or withheld, and therefore no funds are due the contractor. And Dynalectric has complied with all the EEO labor compliance requirements for this federal contract. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions on number 13? I'll make a motion that thank you, ma'am. I'll make a motion that we adopt agenda item number 13. And it's seconded by Commissioner Davis. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 13. And we can send number 13 forthwith. Is there a second to my motion that we approve the meeting minutes from the meeting of Wednesday, November 21, 2018 by Commissioner Cabello? Any objection? Without objection, those meeting minutes will be approved. Agenda item number 5. Above ground facilities, hardship waiver and variance. Council District 5, 1102 North Rose Avenue. Recommending that the board first approve the request for a variance from the height requirement of the AGF ordinance pursuant to Los Angeles Municipal Code Section 08VB. Secondly, approve the request for a hardship waiver from the below-grade requirement of the AGF ordinance pursuant to Municipal Code Section 62082A. And third, authorize mobility to install a 40-foot high wood monopole in the public right-of-way adjacent to 11002 North Rose Avenue. This was continued from a week ago, December 19th. There had been a question regarding co-location. Ms. Wang is back on agenda item number 5 today. Welcome.
Good morning, Hui Huang with Bureau Engineering, Central District. Last week's meeting, it was noted that you did not need a oral briefing on the content of the report. If that has changed, you can let me know. After the meeting from last week, we met with the staff from Bureau of Street Lighting and with Commissioner Garcia to go over the co-location questions on the BSL street light poles. A handout is being passed to you. We would like to have that memo amend the record to be added as transmittal number 5 to amend transmittal number 4. Essentially, it's just a signed memo noting that the BSL co-location on a street light pole is not viable for this location. At the meeting, we did address any additional concerns and questions that Commissioner Garcia had for the co-location. And at this point, I can take any further questions on the item if there is any.
Okay, I'll start with Commissioner Garcia. Commissioner Garcia, anything further on agenda item number 5?
Yes, the reason we have this letter that Dr. Campos just passed out is because we're moving forward on formalizing the process that we first find a co-location opportunity and to see if there is. If there isn't a co-location opportunity, BSL will provide a signed letter by Director Norma Isakian saying why, and if there is a possibility, she will let us know where the possibility. So we're starting this now, and it'll come to board in the next year now, the formalized process for this. So on particularly for this project, it's a little concerning because there is already an existing a utility pole with a telecommunication device on it
One that's
already.
behind the property?
Exactly, the
Yes.
one it's behind. Is it behind you?
The existing wireless facility on an existing utility wooden pole is on the same side of the street.
On the same side of the street. So this street is very concerning because the street officially does not have any street lights, but if we grant this, it would have now 2 monopoles with telecommunication devices on it. My suggestion or my recommendation was that if we can co-locate this request into the utility pole, and so can you please let me know if that's a viable option?
Sure, I can elaborate on that. So existing, there are 2 utility poles with high voltage lines that the applicant has noted that is not a co-location option. The other utility pole that you mentioned that has the existing wireless facility, that's not considered a monopole. It's a utility pole with wireless equipment attached to it. The applicant had noted that that was not a co-location option, that it did not have further room or capacity to accommodate a second wireless site.
So technically there isn't any room on the utility pole that currently has a telecommunication device to add another device on it.
Correct, that is the information we received.
What other options do we have out there? Because one of the things that I also want, as we discussed in our meeting, I want to move forward, is that for us at the board to always have an aerial view of where this monopole is going to go and not just a singular picture. So were you, BOE, able to, and BSL, able to see the big picture and see if there was maybe on an adjacent street or a further down street, a possibility for co-location?
The short summary of this is that we did look at the aerial overview of the site. In most applications, the carrier doesn't provide to us their service data, service detail issues, and the service gap. What they really come in is to tell us, okay, this is the general area where we want to place a monopole. And we look at what the existing infrastructure is in that small area and deem it or review and decide if any of them are co-location poles or facilities options. If the question is, can that be looked further into? We have posed that question to a lot of the carriers, and they always come back and tell us that a lot of it is, I guess, private business service detail that they don't like to share, as far as like user numbers, data, service area. I'm not sure if that's something that we can press further. It might be a legal issue or like a business disclosure issue that they might have privilege on.
Ted, that's something probably we can discuss with Ted also in a future meeting. But Ted, do you know that now?
That type of information isn't really part of the current process for reviewing the applications. There has been some discussion in the past about adding to the requirements. Some of the data that we would get, the providers have historically viewed as proprietary, and so there's been resistance on that front. Moreover, they are operating within the Public Utility Code that does give them the right to install these poles in the right-of-way, subject to our ability to regulate time, place, and manner.
That's the state law versus the federal
State
law.
Public Utilities Code, which is the basis of the way we have our ordinance that has the variance requirements in the board's decision here. But I don't think that type of information is currently part of the package that we get from the providers. Although we do ask them to explore the co-location opportunities. The co-location opportunities are typically within the public right-of-way, not other locations that may be available on private property.
Right, thank you. So we don't really know how the range of their ask is, right? Basically, how far they can go from that piece. Because I still don't feel comfortable allowing a hardship waiver for this in a street that doesn't have any street lights and will have 2 monopoles on it with telecommunication devices. If we can get into an agreement of actually putting some type of street lights in there and then co-locate there, something we can explore with the mobility company. But I, as of right now, as a commissioner, I don't feel comfortable enough to allow this. And I'm sure, there's the rules, and this will probably still go through anyway. But as a commissioner, I want to deny, I'm putting the motion that I'll deny this because I just don't feel right that there is no street lights and we will subject these folks under that street to 2 telecommunication devices. If mobility can find another place adjacent, or we can look, or we can have a further discussion where this can go, I look forward to that.
Okay, Commissioner Cabello and then Commissioner Jacinto.
Thank you, President James. I too must express some concerns, and my concerns are what I brought up last time, which is outreach not just to property owners or to the council office, but I think we also received something from the Palm Neighborhood Council. So, Ms. Wang, I apologize for bringing this up again. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but what outreach was there done, if any, to the Neighborhood Council?
For this item, agenda item number 5 for the location on Rose, this is not one that we received the comments on from the Neighborhood Council. You're referring to a second item that will...
No, I'm referring, I think, specifically to this item on Rose, if I'm not mistaken.
They're both in Council District 5.
Yes.
Well, okay, either way, was there any outreach done to the Neighborhood Council for the Rose Avenue item?
Yes, for our standard application process, we do require that the Neighborhood Council and the council districts be notified of the installation. Aside from that, the current municipal code asks that the abutting, adjoining, and the across the right-of-way properties be notified. In practice, we do notify the property owners. That has been how we have set up the process to meet with the existing codes. If the question is, can we expand beyond what the current process is? Of course, that can always be accommodated. It would require for us to change slightly how we process the work. It might require some adjustments to resources may require additional resources to accommodate the extra activity. That is something that definitely we can evaluate. But for this one application, we did fulfill the current requirement of notifying the property owners and the neighborhood council and the council district. As far as from that public notification, we did not receive any comments from either parties.
Okay, well, funny you should say that. I will be codifying that exactly in a motion that I am submitting, a written motion for an agenda at a future date, and I will be working with Commissioner Jacinto and and Bureau of Engineering, and I'll just read you the move clause, and then we will discuss this offline before it comes back to the board. It is therefore moved that the Board of Public Works instruct the city engineer, to require all AGF above-ground facility applicants to notify property owners and/or applicants of any impacted property in accordance to Los Angeles Municipal Code Section 62.083 and continue to report on how applicants demonstrate, quote, technical or financial infeasibility and that all reasonable alternatives have been exhausted, end quote, before the board considers any financial hardships and/or waiver of AGF installations. And specifically what that is reaching out to the renters in addition to just the property owners. And we'll work together on a process and have you guys report back on that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, Commissioner Cabello, your motion submitted. Dr. Campos, did he step out? Okay, just on his big moment. Because my request on this, oh, there you are. So, Dr. Campos, Commissioner Cabello has submitted a motion that is seconded by Commissioner Garcia that we should agendize. I know this is our last meeting of this year. Our first date's what, January 7th?
Monday, January 7th.
Yes. Trying to remember why that date stuck in my head. Oh, that's right. It's the national championship in college football that night. But in all seriousness, I would like to hear this early because if this passes, it might affect the budget requests that engineering puts in their budget proposals for resources to be able to do this kind of work.
I do want to be fair to the Bureau and give them a little bit of time to work together on this, but not just have it be on the first board agenda. We should have at least a meeting or two. And also Commissioner Jacinto to weigh in as well.
Okay, so when you all decide that you would like it to come to the Board of Public Works, I said my piece, you guys can put it on the agenda. And I'm sure you can work with engineering as to when they want it to be put on the agenda. They're the ones that need to write their budget requests.
We'll work with the Bureau of Engineering, also with the commissioners.
And when are budget proposals? We can amend them up until
all the budget proposals can be amended
February?
technically until late February, early March.
Okay.
So we can submit supplementals, if you will, to the mayor's budget and innovation team.
Okay, so there's a little time on this. Okay, thank you for that. Commissioner Jacinto.
Thank you, President James and colleagues. I do appreciate the expanded, the enhanced, and the deeper discussion around co-location possibilities and to manage our public right-of-way. That's important. We're stewards of the public right-of-way. So I join you in that. I think that this discussion, whether it be the deeper and stronger notification than what is currently in the ordinance, everything is possible to balance the building and the development and the provision of technology and access to the market, which is the populations of Los Angeles, with the stewardship of the public right-of-way. I think this is a message to industry that our board, this Board of Public Works, at this time is going to be looking for a more rigorous process of vetting, of disclosure, within the guidelines of what is feasible in terms of proprietary information. So we're going to have to balance all that together with any impact that we have in the permitting process that has certain parameters of whether it's a shot clock or staff capacity to do these things. Everything, all that will have to be considered so we can get to a balance of building infrastructure and stewarding in the public right away. But I see this as sort of an indication to our friends, and this may be mobility, and we know Shannon's right there in there listening very intently as this will shape the future. But we welcome it because it is a balance, and I think being guided and counseled by our city attorney is important too in terms of what is possible, what is kind of within our right to do as the AGF is written, what is discretionary at the staff level, or what we have to change moving forward. So I think the more we can continue this and balance that, again, technology and infrastructure with the stewardship, I'm great with that too as well.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Jacinto. So thank you. This will be a great process as it always is at the Board of Public Works. We have the, as I talk about, the luxury and the ability to spend some time on these items. But let's get back to that. So that was submitted on number 5. I believe I've got a motion from Commissioner Garcia on number 5 to deny. So seconded by Commissioner Cabello. I sense that this may not be a unanimous vote, so on the motion, we'll do a show of hands in favor of this is to deny the request for the AGF on number 5. So those in favor of the denial. Okay, I've got Commissioners Garcia and Cabello. Those opposed to the denial would be James and Jacinto. Commissioner Davis? Congratulations, sir.
Hold the item until such time we have further discussion with the bureaus to get a solution around it. If not, then I will make the tough decision.
Well, let's talk to our city attorney about what we've got a 2-2 right now with Commissioner Davis still on the sidelines. If we continue this item, what does that do to us legally with what has already essentially been a shot clock that has run?
Well, we're already beyond the deadline, so if the applicant agrees, we could continue the discussion, although I'm not sure what further information would be developed through that discussion. The report that the applicant submitted indicates that they believe there's a significant gap in their coverage area. This structure that's been proposed is intended to fill in that gap. That's part of the record that's with their request for these variances and the hardship waiver. So in many cases, further discussion does result in solutions, but I don't know if that's going to be possible here. Bottom line is, if we don't approve it and they don't agree, then it's a violation of the shot clock.
Let me throw one out. We don't have an affirmative, and they may not be happy with me for this, but we don't have an affirmative one way or the other from the council office.
On this item, they took no position.
Right. Well, they're facing a 2-2 vote right now. They might want a position. So they may want to take a position if if we continue the item, because Commissioner Davis is interested in what the council office has a if they have, as we say from where I'm from, if they have a druther one way or the other, if they have a say in the matter. So why don't we at least put this over to the next Public Works meeting? Granted, the applicant can handle it how the applicant wants to handle that. But the next Public Works meeting is January 7th. And we can at least by then, I can speak to the Chief of Staff of Council District 5 and put on the record what the council office might want to see, since they've taken no position. Ms. Wang, any thoughts on that?
I have a thought as well. You know, a vote has been initiated here, and commissioners are required to vote. You can't abstain, you can't not vote. Silence by a commissioner is a vote.
So
yes.
Would you like for me to vote? Or I can vote if you'd like for me to.
If she wants to rescind the motion, I would be okay with that.
If she can rescind the motion, then we can decide.
I can vote. I can vote. It doesn't matter if you'd like for me to. I'll be more than happy to.
Just for the record, I'm not going to, just so that the board members understand what this vote is. If Commissioner Davis votes yes, that's a vote in support of the motion, which means the application is rejected. If the commissioner votes no, then the motion fails, and it hasn't been rejected, but no one has voted to adopt the recommendation.
Okay,
There is
but
no motion
if,
for that.
that said, if Commissioner Garcia, I just heard her say she'd like to hear from the council office, so she can withdraw her motion?
Yes.
Okay. And Commissioner Cabello can withdraw her second? Okay. Is that something you,
Yes, I agree to that, just because I do think we should weigh in on this. Maybe out of the conversations with the council office, we can discuss the possibility of having streetlights on that street. And some of that might be something that can come up through the discussion.
well, it's also possible the council office says, no, you guys decide.
Oh, then we'll be right back at it. And then we'll be
And then-
right back at it. Yeah. And then you'll have about 3 weeks to think about this.
I don't want to speak out of turn. You know, the installation of streetlights, it's, you know, it is a process.
Yes.
It requires a
The assessment, sure.
assessment district be created and all of that. So just, it's not simply a matter of the telecommunications company deciding we're going to put a streetlight there.
I agree. I definitely understand the process of street lighting, and it's an opportunity to see if that street would want some street lights, BSL. I know that we can probably do some outreach on that. And I mean, I just want it to be fair for that street, and this is why I've been going through the denial or the process. But I would want to hear from council and see what they have to say specifically on the fact that that street has no street lights and will have 2 monopoles in there.
Okay. So
I
the
hear a
motion has
motion
been
to
withdrawn.
rescind the motion
Yes.
from Commissioner Garcia, seconded by Commissioner Cabello.
Well, yes, the withdrawal as well.
The withdrawal. Any objection for the recension?
No.
No.
No. Any objection? No. Okay, so the item is continued then to Monday, January 7th, at which time I will have some indication from the council office, and that indication may be no indication, in which case we'll act on that as well. Okay? Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Yes, Commissioner Ascento.
President James, do we understand who's going to reach out to Council District 5?
I will.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Agenda item number 4, above-ground facility variance and hardship waiver for 10924 Regent Street. This is in Council District 5. This item is the first before us today. It has not been continued. This one is on today's agenda, not continued from a prior agenda. Recommending that the board approve the request for a variance from the height requirement of the AGF ordinance pursuant to Los Angeles Municipal Code Section 6208 VB. Secondly, approve the request for a hardship waiver from the below-grade requirement of the AGF ordinance pursuant to Los Angeles Municipal Code 62082A. And third, authorize mobility to install a 38-foot-high wood monopole in the public right-of-way adjacent to 10924 Regent Street. Ms. Wang on number 4.
Good morning, Hui Huang with Bureau Engineering Central District. This item before you is a new item. It is for a monopole in Council District 5. Before I proceed with the briefing of it, it was brought to my attention this morning that there was a public comment made from the Palms Neighborhood Council on this location. It was transmitted via Council District 5, who does not have a position on this item, even after the comment was forwarded from the Neighborhood Council's president. So I will go ahead and provide a briefing on this item, but I have a feeling that the questions that were presented from the Neighborhood Council might require us to additional time to review it, because they asked for us to consider relocating that onto an existing structure that was not part of the review area for the original application. And as such, we don't have enough information to confidently say that that's additional utility pole is not a co-locatable facility.
Okay, and do we have the name of the president of the Palms Neighborhood Council?
Sorry, say that again?
Oh, okay. We're getting an email. I just want the record to reflect as it should. Okay, so as soon as we get our copy, I saw it in my email today, but I didn't print it. Commissioner Garcia, while we move along and wait.
Huey, I have a question. How far apart is this request to the last request?
This one is on region. I would think that it's in a different neighborhood council office. I don't know the actual.
I think they're both on 5.
Yes, they're in the same council district, but they're in the different neighborhood council districts.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Yeah, different,
In the same
different neighborhood
community,
council.
yeah. Is this the same situation? No street lights as well?
Correct. For this item, we did bring a handout delivery to you. It's also a statement from BSL noting that no co-location was available at this site because there was no existing streetlight infrastructure in the vicinity.
So thank you for that. And yeah, I was looking for that here. And in the future, like I said, we just, for all the commissioners, we just want an aerial view of what this looks like. It would be nice if the applicant can also contribute to letting us know of the range, what the range is, the possibilities. And so those are the two recommendations I have for this one as well, as we're waiting for the neighborhood council's comment email on this. I am going to say the same as the other one. I want to, then I have to resend it if I do that. I want to hear the council's office. There is no council position on this either, right?
That's correct. I did speak to Council District 5 today, this morning, and they have taken no position. They remain with the not taking a position on the item. We did have a discussion about possibly spending a little more time on the application before the city made a decision, the board made a decision, by looking at the comments that were provided by, even though the neighborhood council provided the comments this morning, it's still a valid public comment on the item.
Right.
So if you want to take it into consideration for Bureau Engineering, we would need additional time to do the investigation. And he was supportive, of course,
of the additional time.
Yes,
Okay.
always.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Commissioner Garcia. So we have the emails from Allison Regan, who is apparently the president of the Palms Neighborhood Council. And according to Ms. Wang from the Bureau of Engineering, the request of the Palms Neighborhood Council requires some additional time for the Bureau of Engineering to respond. That would, so we may have already had this discussion, but to summarize, does that put us over to January 7th? Is that an okay date for you? Is that enough time for you, or do you need more time?
That should be sufficient.
Okay. Commissioner Sento? Oh, okay. If that's, it's the holidays, but there's 2 holidays in there, and that's our next meeting anyway. Okay, so that moves both items, 4 and 5, to Monday, January 7th, 2019. Commissioner Cabello.
Thank you, President James. And for the record, as looking at the board report and looking at the picture of the properties in the proposed location, again, I see multifamily units and folks who are likely not have been notified of this. And I think that given the holidays and given the time pressure, that will not be enough time. But for the record, I want to express my concern about that. Thank you, Ms. Wang.
Right, thank you, but you'll be back on, I'd like to, look, these things move along. You're going to be here on number 5 anyway. I'd still like to leave number 4. Whether we vote on number 4 or not, we'll at least have more information then than we have today.
Correct.
Correct? Okay. And then we can decide then if we want to continue it again or not. Okay, so that'll be the order on number 4 as well. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Have a nice holiday.
Likewise.
We have, Dr. Campos, have we cleared the desk of the voting items?
Voting items, yes, you have.
Okay, then we have oral reports regarding monthly status of contracts expiring within 90 days. And Sherry, we'll start with you because you got an award this morning. So you get to go first.
Thank you. Good morning, Commissioners, Bureau Rep, City Attorney, Executive Officer, and happy holidays. Our report sounds exactly the same that it did last month. We have 4 contracts expiring within the next 120 days. 2 of them will be renewed. The first one is Myron Electric Construction Corporation. It expires in March next year. We will be exercising the 3rd one-year renewal option containing that contract, and we also plan to go to bid for the same services. The second one that we will renew is USA Waste of California, doing business as Waste Management El Sobrante Landfill. That also expires next March 2019, and that's for disposal services of residual municipal solid waste. And LA Sanitation will be exercising a 5-year renewal option containing that contract. The board report is currently being prepared by the project manager. 2 contracts won't be renewed. First one is with Inflection Point Solutions. That contract expires at the end of this year, and LA Sanitation will be executing a new sole source contract with that same contractor for such services. Project manager is finalizing the draft contract. And second one that won't be renewed is with CH2M. Also expires at the end of this year. And that's for sanitation automation projects. The current project that they are working for will be performed under another TOS. They actually have a contract with us under another on-call list, so they'll be performing the remaining portion of that work under that new TOS.
Thank you. Sherry, on the Myron Electric Construction Corporation, the third one-year renewal option, how many more one-year renewals?
Oh, that's a final.
It's the one, right?
That's it. That's why we're already finalizing the new RFP
Okay.
to go out, yeah.
Okay, yeah, because you got 1 year left on that one.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Anything further for sanitation on this? Thank you much.
Thank you.
Engineering?
Yes, good afternoon. Jose Fuentes, Bureau of Engineering. We have two lists of on-call consultant contracts that are expiring. The first is for the civil list. It includes 10 firms. They are AECOM, SOMAS, HNTB, Mars Services, HDR, CH2M Hill, Cordova Corporation, David Evans and Associates, EW Moon, and Harris and Associates. All 10 contracts are due to expire March 17, 2019. We'll be coming shortly back to board to extend these from a 10-year term to a 13-year term, so we're seeking a 3-year extension. A lot of these contracts have active TOSs right now, task order solicitations in the works, so we want to have the ability to finish those tasks. The second list is from the Geotech Environmental, and there are 4 firms on that list: Geosyntec, Tetra Tech, Shannon and Wilson, Group Delta Consultants. These contracts are expiring on February 19, 2019, March 2nd, 2019, and 3/4, 2019, respectively. We are not seeking to extend these.
Commissioner Jacinto.
Thank you. Jose, are we in the process of doing another on-call for civil?
Yes.
Okay,
absolutely, yes.
so
It'll be in the works. It does take a couple of years, unfortunately, but it's
timeframe.
something that is now on the works. But for now, we're seeking to
Do you
extend
have
it.
a ballpark figure when
It'll probably be at least 2 years.
Next 2 years.
We would like to see an overlap of at least a year, so we don't have this issue of tosses. We'd like to just move them forward.
Understood. So we extend it, and then within that period, get the new list.
That's correct.
So I'm sorry, so the new list that we're going to hear about in the third quarter of 2020?
As far as establishing, we probably start coming at least 2 years before with the recommendation to go out and solicit and reach out to the firms. So by the end of next year, you should start hearing about the new list that should be established.
Understood. So you're going to preview this,
Yes,
the
absolutely.
process next year. So that would take it, if it's 2 years, then it would take it to maybe 2021 to get the new list.
I'm hoping by late 2020. Like I said, you want to have that 1 year overlap whenever possible.
Okay, got it.
That would be the third quarter of 2020.
That's correct.
Okay, all right. Okay. Thanks, sir. Anything further? Oral report will be received. Y'all have a happy holiday as well. We are clear other than our adjourning motion, I believe. Commissioner Garcia.
This is tough end of the year. Another journey motion. I unfortunately have the honor to adjourn on Michael Martin Cates, better known as Mike, from Bureau of Street Lighting. Mike began his city career on July 16 of 1984 as a civil engineering assistant with the Department of Public Works, Bureau of Street Lighting. He was promoted to full street lighting engineer in 1989 and senior street lighting engineer in 1995. As a senior street lighting engineer, Mike managed almost every engineering division in the Bureau, including the Field Operations Division. Mike was a real Renaissance man, an avid reader and collector of books and art, a true outdoors man who enjoyed bike riding, hunting, and all sports in general. Mike had over 33 years with the Bureau of Street Lighting and was a real presence and part of our family. His shared knowledge, dedication, and service over the years is greatly appreciated, and he will truly be missed. Thank you very much.
And we adjourn today in Mike's honor.